And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. As you know, the Prairie View A&M University Panthers are headed to the Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship game against the Jackson State Devils. And part of that turnaround has been the resurgence of the Panthers' defensive aggressiveness. And to lead that way is none other than defensive coordinator Henry Miller. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you guys for having me on the show this morning.
Well, we're mighty glad to have you on board, sir. And as we mentioned, a lot of people from outside looking in say, man, what has happened? Number 3 in most of the categories throughout the conference and even tickling the ranking nationally. What has brought about this resurgence of Panthers defense, sir?
Well, on our model, we recruited kids that, bought into our model, which is to play smart, play fast, and play physical. Those are the things that we tune in on. Those are the things that we look for and see if those guys have at least 2 out of the 3, and then we can coach the other.
Yes, sir. Now, when it's you and your group or your team in that room, because it's always seemed like it's us against the world, right? And you hear the whispers, and some of them even bellow loud, this, that, and the other. And, of course, in today's society, people are quick to try to pull the trigger. We need to get rid of X, Y, and Z. What was the common message during this progression for Panthers overall, team-wise and defensively?
Well, defensively, what I did was I told them, hey, man, we got to weather the storm. There's going to be a lot of naysayers, but they don't understand what we're putting together. It's a process. First we had to get the kids in. Second, we had to teach the kids the system. And then the third thing, we had to let it, mature. The process had to develop. The kids bought into it. We kept working hard. We understand that Prairie View was known for their offense, but we wanted to be known for defense. We understand that to actually win a championship, you have to have a defense quality football team, and that's what we try to develop here.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, you're talking to an old linebacker, so you're preaching to the choir right now, sir. And my thing is this: the offense has been there from day one, right? But
yes,
now
sir.
that defense has turned the corner, here we are, Western Division champions. So enough said on that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, and it's ironic, you lost some key players who had the option to stay or leave. They chose to go to greener pastures, to larger conferences, and, to whom much is given, much is required, and you wish them well. They had some successful seasons. But you have some major gaps to fill, and I know it's the next man up mentality, and that's easier said than done. What was your first initial thought when these key players left your program?
Wow. First you talk about a guy like Reggie Stubblefield, who was probably one of the smartest, football players I ever came across. And not only that, he plays with a whole lot of energy, a mainstream in our defense, a guy that I was expecting to come by. And when he didn't, it kind of hurt like your girlfriend leaving you for a minute. And you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. But fortunate for me, I had another rising star in Jake Cheatham that I seen him coming in as a young guy, pretty much fell underneath Stubblefield Wayne, start picking up the defense and the process of things, how we do things, and became a good football player in the process. He actually doing a great job in replacing Stubblefield right now. I think he leads the league in interceptions with about 5. He's up there with tackles. He's doing everything that Stubblefield was doing for us, setting the defenses up in the back, all the coverages, making all the checks. So God blessed me with a guy that was already on the team to replace Stubblefield. And
yes,
then
sir.
you talk about a guy like Story Jackson, the nation leader. Well, the year before that, we had a linebacker in Treshawn Smith that finished second in the league in tackles. But in the spring, he was dealing with some injuries, so he didn't have an opportunity to play all the time. But this year, he's back in stride again. So, you know, even though those guys left, and he was a big part of what we was doing, the guys that replaced him was still here on the team, and they had success doing what they was doing. So it was easy to put them guys back in and work from there.
Yes, sir. And speaking of Jackson and Stubblefield, they went on to have some very productive seasons at their respective schools, one at Liberty and the other, of course, at Kansas State. Now, with all of that goes on, this game of football is won and lost in the trenches. Yes. And if there's been a huge advantage or growth, let us say, it has been in that trench game on that defensive side, and of course led by Jason Dumas. But your guys have put in the work up front now.
Yes, sir. And you talk about Coach Middleton and Coach Van Singletary. Those guys did a great job with the defensive front. We understood coming in off the 2019 football season that we had to get better in the trenches. We had to get bigger. We had to get stronger. So that was one of our main strengths, to get defensive linemen that not only bigger and stronger, but athletic, that can move. Those are the things that we look for, the qualities we look for in our defensive line. Not only do you have to be big and strong, but you have to be agile. You got to be able to move. You know, you got to be able to switch gaps. You got to be very light on your feet. And, you know, fortunately for us, we found a couple of key players like Troy James and, you know, Dante Carter, you know, team him up with Dumas, Kevin Victorian. I mean, those guys have size, those guys have strength, and those guys have speed. And, you know, when you get guys like that that move the way they move, and even when we play, even though the score said one thing at Texas A&M, but I really like the way we battle up front.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it was a relentless pace from start to finish, regardless of the 52-3 score. I'm understanding that the guys came by and gave some accolades to your defensive line play about never quitting from start to finish. And that's what you always want to look at and see. And as you're building this program and building a culture, and let me put emphasis on this, Coach, a defensive culture. You get what I'm saying? Yes. When you look at this thing, and I've talked with Coach Dooley about it, and maybe you can add or subtract from it, I think part of the resurgence of the defense this year has been the offense's ability to stay on the field a little bit longer, to give you guys rested up in between series, too.
You know what? Of course, every defense coordinator would love to keep their defensive players on the bench a little while to rest. You know, it just gives them the energy to go out there and play harder, the plays that they're out there. You know, in our offensive scheme, I prepare for how our offense is. But when they can run the football and keep us on the sideline, that's a
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You love it. You know, you can't help but to love something like that.
We always talk about that 12th man element, and they put emphasis on the fan base. But for me, Coach, the 12th man is time of possession.
Yes,
if
sir.
you can win
yes,
that time
sir.
of possession game, you are really making some huge leaps and bounds for a strong, consistent program. We're talking right now with Henry Miller, defensive coordinator for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Let me add this, ladies and gentlemen, Western Division champions,
yes,
Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Now, Coach, I don't know if you recall when we spoke, when you first got here, you said part of the goal was to win a championship. And congratulations on Championship 1A. And the reason I'm saying Championship 1A, because 2A will be against Jackson State in a couple of weeks, and then 3A will be the Ultimate Celebration Bowl.
Yeah,
and when you see all of this that has grown, and for some it looks like it's happened overnight, but you guys walked into this thing from day one. And you mentioned earlier about the long suffering, going with the ups, downs, the ebb and flows of a program. What have you learned about yourself as a coach and as a man dealing with what you have to deal with the last 4 years at Prairie View?
Well, you know, I'm glad you asked that question, because your kids watch you, your players watch you, and they watch and see if you're going to break, if you're going to crack when hard times hit. They watch to see how you handle things that don't go according to how you plan. And I always tell them sometimes you got to have a plan B, even when you don't have a plan B. Plan A went straight out the window. You can't panic. You just got to keep working hard, develop another plan, and hope that you guys trust in me like I trust in you. I have to change the plan. Hey, it didn't work. I got to go to B now. And the kids just, hey, coach, whatever you need, we got you. And it's just, in their eyes, if they haven't seen nothing else, they know that in life, things ain't going to happen all like you planned. Things are going to go out of whack sometimes. But you can't panic. You got to stay focused, and you got to keep your goal in mind, no matter what it is, and keep pushing towards that goal. And that's what we did, no matter what was going on with Prairie View. All the stuff that we had to go through, we kept the main thing, and that's to try to win a championship here, to go 1-0 each week. That's the focus that we had toward the kids. Hey, man, as long as we keep the main thing, and things going to happen in life. Let's just keep them in his order, keep them in, how we want to do it, keep our focus, and keep pushing.
Absolutely, and pushing is the ultimate mission right about now at this time of year, playing for the first time in a long time, ball of significance in December, where you're in postseason play, and it's definitely a good feeling from top to bottom. Now, Coach, with everything that you've grown through and that you've experienced as a head coach, as an individual, and you can't help but look forward to the future. And I know you're in the middle of a season, but recruiting never ends, does it?
It doesn't. It never stops. Actually, the best recruiting tool we have is to keep playing. When kids see that you keep playing, that you still playing, and you playing for something, you playing for championships, kids want that. That's what kids want to come and be a part of. I don't know a kid out there that want to go and say, hey, I'm going to go to be a part of a loser. They don't want that. Everybody want to be a part of a winner. And they want to know what your program is doing and what direction your program is heading. And that's how you get the recruits that makes a difference in your program.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Now, Coach, we have people that are listening right now. Some may understand, some might not understand, but we try to touch all bases. What is the defensive scheme that you run, and why did you choose that scheme?
Well, the defensive scheme that I run, my base is 4-2-5. That means you have 4 D linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. And the reason I chose that defense is because of the conference that I play in. Everybody is spread. Everybody throws the ball around. And you have to have cover guys out there on the field to match the offensive scheme. A lot of people have adjusted to that scheme. It helps you out defensively because now offense can't find a mismatch in the slot because now you got a guy that can handle their slot wide receiver. And that's basically what it comes down to. Offense, putting a good receiver in the slot to try to match up on a linebacker or a strong safety. And what you do, you counter and take a counter, put him in the slot. Now you can match up with his slot guy while you can play defense, a scheme on everywhere else.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, this is a little trivia question coming from an old man. I told you I'm a defensive guy. Now, the 4-2-5, we used to call it the nickel. When did that change and why?
Well, it changed because at first it just used to put it in there in certain situations. You play your base 4-3 on first and second, then the offensive center, extra receivers in, and you take a DB out and you put extra. You take a linebacker out and you put extra DB in. But now the offense don't have a tight end no more. They don't play with fullbacks no more. They're playing with 3 wide receivers now. So what defense did, we got to make this nickel position, which is pretty much was a temporarily position. And now we got to make this a mainstay of our defense.
Okay. And with that being said, another defense that is becoming, I guess, antiquated is the 3-4, which is really a 5-2. But then when you got the 3-4, because instead of having your defensive ends in a three-point stand. Now they're standing up.
Yes,
do you see that ever coming back?
The reason why because of now they got zone reads and all of that now, RPOs and all of that situation that offenses has in their offense when they spread you out. The reason why they stand the defensive ends up now so they can see what's going on. You know, they can see the fake. They can see if the quarterback pull or see if the quarterback about to throw. When you're in the three-point stand, you pretty much don't have that vision because you're in the three-point stand, you're dealing with linemen in the point of attack. You're still dealing with the linemen at the point of attack, but my vision is up high so I can see what's going on.
Yes, sir. Now, you know you just helped some listeners get a little bit football IQ so when they're watching the game, they can sound like they know what they're talking about, right?
Yes, sir. At least, you know, we just want the listeners to know when you see the defensive end standing up, they're not standing up to look pretty. There's a reason why they're doing that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, historically, and you referenced to it a while ago, I know that you guys look for that kind of lean, I'm going to call it like a cheetah type player where he's not as heavy as a lion would be, but that would end up being detrimental in the latter parts of games, and that's when your wear and tear from a run game kind of showed itself. When did you guys realize you was going to have to change and flip the script real quick?
Well, in 19, when you know the teams like the Southerns and the Alcorns and the Jackson was pretty much being physical with us. Mm-hmm. You know, so I knew that what I had and what I needed had to change. You know, when you're trying to be the best, those are the teams that you have to beat. So that's what you try to engage your talent on. So, you know, if they coming down here, especially a team like Southern, and they want to just run the ball down your throat, then you have to have guys that's physical enough to, you know, at least stay there in battle.
Yes, sir.
You know,
was it hard for you to transition to that and even convince players of that caliber to come and be a part of your program?
Well, you know, you have to sell them a dream, you know, but dreams do come true. You know, we showed them the fact that, hey, we plan on being, you know, representing Prairie View in the championship one day in the near future, you know, but we're just a few players away. You know, we need help here. And, you know, you're the guys that we chosen to help us, that help us get to where we need to get to. You know, we brought them in. We showed them the scheme. We showed them some tapes. We showed them how the guys that wasn't as heavy or strong or as athletic as they are had a little success. But because of size, that's all they can do. They gave us what they can give us, you know. But with you, 6'2", 290, strong, athletic, you can give us a whole lot more. And then the most important thing, you'll be the endurance that we need. You can give us that. You won't be in the fourth quarter, we rush you. You have enough strength to finish. Instead of weakening, you'll be getting stronger.
Very good, very good. Well, Coach, whatever you're selling, keep on selling it, sir. Package it and manufacture, as I say, mass produce this thing so we can keep the train rolling. I want to thank you so much, sir, for joining in with us on today on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. And we want to give you an opportunity to have some closing thoughts and comments, and the floor is now yours, sir.
Okay. I just want the people of Houston, Prairie View, all the way down to Houston, let them know that Prairie View is the Southwest Athletic Conference champs of the West. Okay, we ain't stopping there. We need the fan support. We need you guys to come out and cheer us on. But there's something special that's about to happen, you know. And we already know what it's gonna take to get there. It's just gonna be more than just us. You know, our fan base and everybody else that want to cheer for the Prairie View Panthers. Come on in. Come on in.
Come on in, say the water is just right.
That's right. Come on in, the water is just right.
All right, Coach, we thank you so much for joining in with us. Go Panthers, go PV Nation, and let's go for the SWAC championship, sir.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. He is Coach Henry Miller, defensive coordinator for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. I am the radio guy. Thank you so much for joining us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. 13 different locations to better serve you. There is one near you. You can check them out at bvscu.org. And until the next time, you guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.